There we go. There's our versus screen right now. Quantic.Illusion on the left, Liquid HerO on the right, and it is game time. There we are, guys, and here we go. Our first match at our Hot Import Nights event. This double elimination with 4 of the best players in StarCraft 2, and down on the bottom left, we have our Terran player from the team Quantic. It is Illusion. And in the top right, in the blue, playing Protoss, we have our Team Liquid player all the way from Seoul, South Korea. It is Liquid HerO.
That's right. So HerO versus Illusion. I realize I make Arrested Development jokes every time Illusion plays, but now he's here in person, so I've got to make about 5 times as many of them.
I haven't seen that show still, so they still won't work on me. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I will.
Show.
We'll watch it together sometime. We'll get some popcorn. We'll get
That's going to be so much fun.
Yeah. It'll be delightful.
Yes. Well, here we go, guys. It is game number 1. The map is going to be Daybreak, actually, for all of our Winners Round 1 matches. So kind of an interesting place to start a PvT, and we'll get to that here in just a bit. We've seen players like Thorzane go ultra-aggressive super cheese on this map to prevent players from going for Nexus first. But on the flip side of things, that's really popular, too. Taking a bunch of command structures, really going up into a super strong macro build.
You know
and
what?
It's going to be gas first from Quantic.Illusion.
Yeah, already an interesting start. This is not typical of Terran versus Protoss builds. Normally, you don't see that gas guys are taken before building any sort of barracks or any other building, really. It means that we're going to have Quantic.Illusion going for more of a tech-heavy build. He's not going to be expanding very quickly. He's not going to be worrying all that much about his economy quickly. Now, the question is, does he want to just do this to get a little bit quicker factory and then maybe have some Hellions out to cause damage early on, or does he want to go all out, go for like a 1-1-1, get some Cloaked Banshees? There's a lot of different options he can do out of this.
Now, HerO deciding to double gas immediately after his gateways as
early,
well.
Too.
Very early. We've been seeing that more in PvP, as we kind of discussed in Team League the other day.
Yeah, that's right.
You know, because players will go for 2 on each gas, and it's a lot safer way. You make sure your opponent doesn't disrupt your gas mining. It's a little bit more efficient. You can get the stalkers a little bit earlier. That's fine. But in a PvT, both these guys look like they have a little bit of a trick up their sleeve.
Yeah, no kidding. I mean, where it is the first round, it would make sense that they don't really want to show their, all-out builds. They want to start things off, play a few mind games here and there. Now, does he? Okay, he does have 2 probes on each gas. That means he's just kind of mining a little bit more efficiently early on. He's not going all out for a really heavy gas tech build, right? So that's a little bit maybe not along the lines of what we were thinking initially, but Quantic.Illusion very much continuing along the tech route, although no second gas room yet, and the probe does see everything, too.
Yes, the probe sees everything, and Illusion has actually pulled one of his workers, now 2 of his workers off of gas, and HerO decides to go ahead and gas steal just as his probe was dying. So he knows that he's going to get just an extra little bit of information here, knowing that Illusion's not going to take gas while this is constructing.
Yeah, well, he saw the reactor going down on that barracks as well, and that'll be switched over with the factory so that he can make 2 Hellions at once instead of just 1. The Hellions are going to be able to get across that map so quickly, but look at this, a second reactor actually being made by Quantic.Illusion right now. Interesting. So I wonder if, I'm starting to feel like that gas steal from Liquid HerO, taking that gas geyser so Illusion couldn't use it right away, ended up being a pretty good idea.
I don't know, but here's the interesting thing to note, though, is that Illusion pulled totally off gas, as in he has no gas right now. He got perfectly enough for those additional reactors, so maybe, and he is expanding out of this as well, so we're looking at a big Marine Hellion push at the beginning of the game behind an expansion, but on HerO's side of things, he's opening with a Stargate right away in response to what he's seen.
Yeah, and is that already a pylon made by, oh no, that's an orange dot, never mind. So there, okay, he does have a stalker down there. We might see him move out to try to put an offensive pylon down there. I wonder if this is going to be a warp gate or rather a void ray all in from HerO. It's a map that you can certainly do it on, so it is a possibility. I got to go back to what Illusion is doing, though. I really like that he's going for this barracks and factory expand build. This is something that we used to see players like Beyond Prime do back when he was on the Prime clan. Well, actually, he still is on the Prime clan, but he used to do that quite a bit. He would usually add some siege tanks in a little bit later, but this is a style of TVP that we don't really see a whole lot, so it could throw off HerO pretty well, but HerO, kind of playing a little bit unorthodox himself as well, building Phoenixes right now, actually.
Yes, he is. Phoenix is in second gateway just about to finish up, so this kind of ended up looking like a PvP build. He had 2 on each gas, ended up going up to a Stargate with 2 gates anyway. We'll see if he decides to expand out of that. Now, Illusion does have his second command center just about finished up, and he's making his way out on the field with these 4 Hellions, pressuring that Stalker, and he is going to be able to snag the kill.
It's actually amazing how fast Hellions actually kill Stalkers. People wouldn't really think that they would do well against them, but if you can get, a nice surround, you will be able to do a lot of damage here. Now, HerO knows knows that these Hellions are moving across the map towards his base. He only has, a lot of Phoenixes to defend, just a couple gateways as well with that, or gateway units rather. He's got enough sentries to block the ramp, so I'm not really too worried about him. But if he's not careful, if he has his sentries in a bad spot for a moment, he can lose them really, really quickly, these Hellions. And look at that, a lot of Marines moving out with Illusion as well. This is actually going to be a pretty strong push coming out early on.
Yeah, but what a crazy way to start this. And it's really cool to see from Illusion as well. Illusion saying that, I'm going to throw you a little bit of a curveball. I know you're an incredibly strong Protoss player, but I like this. I mean, let's be honest. Illusion does have his work cut out for him in this set. He's got 2 Code S champions to go up against, in addition to Liquid HerO. So I love that he's pulling out something a little bit unique here to kick things off.
Yeah, and I mean, even though HerO hasn't won a GSL championship or anything like that, I feel like he is one of those players that we could see, get first place at some point. I mean, he was in the round of 4 last season. He's got that ability, but here comes Illusion right now. The number of Marines that he has is going to make it tougher here to engage with those Phoenixes. Coming down the ramp right now, the Hellions trying to do some damage here. That force field a little bit out of place, but Illusion more worried about just taking down that Nexus.
Yeah, and it looks like one of these Hellions will actually go down, but there are still a few Phoenixes sitting overhead. The Nexus does get canceled, and Illusion sitting on 2 bases now, researching all of his bio upgrades, but with a beautiful amount of units out to go ahead and deflect anything that HerO has. HerO making his way out now with those Phoenixes.
And Illusion looking like he's not quite sure if he wants to move back as well. Looks like he's going to try to cause a cancel again, and he does. Another 100 minerals just gone for Liquid HerO.
Yeah.
Illusion doesn't really have what he needs to push up the ramp right now, but this harassment is being so effective.
Oh, yeah, no kidding. Another probe going to try and make its way out, and if that goes down, that's another 50 minerals that have just been lost. So really well done by Illusion so far.
Well, this Phoenix opening from HerO just cannot engage this army. There's still enough Marines that his Phoenixes would die very, very quickly. Now these Marines don't have any upgrades or anything like that, so at some point HerO is going to be able to push back, and look at that great Stalker micro picking off those Marines. That's going to let the Phoenixes come in and do some damage. Oh, but another Stalker does go down. I feel like this is about the time Illusion needs to think about starting to pull back a little bit.
Yeah, and it looks like he is with the Hellion, sacrificing a couple of Marines there. However, the Phoenix is actually swinging through now, trying to pick off a couple of units. Looks like they did a little bit of economic damage. Finally picking off a couple of SCVs there, and it looks like Illusion reacting now with those Marines. But you're going to be able to get out there. Oh, and even pick up a couple of Hellions for his troubles as well.
He could, and he will. Yeah, and that's going to be a little bit annoying for Illusion to deal with. The Hellions go down very, very quickly to the Phoenixes because they do actually do plus damage to light units.
That's right.
So although we don't see Hellions get picked up by Phoenixes very often, they do kill them really quickly. So
yes, they do.
That works okay.
Well, you don't often see that many Hellions at the beginning of a TVP either. So nice job picking off a couple more workers there. Let's actually take a look at the total worker count here. It is 33 pros to 39 SCVs. Finally, one of those Phoenixes goes down, but another one has joined the fray. So he's not quite evened up the worker count, but he's getting a little bit closer, and now finally may have the chance to let this Nexus sit and finish.
Illusion is in such a great spot, though. Look at the number of Marines he has out. He's got medevacs on the field right now as well. Combat Shields is on the way. It's going to finish around the time this push gets to HerO's base. It's going to be very well timed out. He's also got a very decent supply lead right now because he was able to stop HerO from taking a second base for so long. So Illusion just in a great spot, doing some more damage to the Phoenixes. The Phoenixes of Liquid HerO are actually getting really low. They're not going to be very much of a factor when it comes to the actual fight, but there is a Colossus on the way for HerO as well, and those do pretty well against Marines, from what I've been told.
They really do, but he's going to need that very quickly. It looks like most of the units are up the front, so we can trap a few of them with force fields, get a couple of units killed, and then move back into a little more defensive position as he delays for that Colossus to come out.
Yeah, and he does need to delay. This is a big deal right now for HerO. He needs to buy time until that Colossus comes out. That's going to be the only thing that saves him. Oh, stimming up the ramp there. Trying to take out a couple units. That medevac, though, getting very low. Illusion needs to be a little bit careful. I almost wonder if he should maybe take down the destructible rocks at this point or not. It's tough with the Marines and the Hellions. It's not going to do it very quickly.
Yeah. That was really well controlled there by HerO, I have to say, up at the front to a delay for that Colossus to pop up. Of course, second Colossus on the way, no range research quite yet. Illusion trying to go around the side, but he's got to watch out. A couple of the force fields, and that Colossus will make quick work of that force.
Well, HerO's chrono boosting goes out as far as possible, and Illusion attacking here. Not the best angle. He does have a couple force fields, split up his forces, and takes some damage, but still not in a bad position overall. Still does have that supply lead for now, but he's going to need something to deal with those Colossi. HerO starting to move out on the map now.
Yeah, there's a lot of Marines out. We see Marauders starting to be produced, actually 2 of those at a time. Finally, I just saw Vikings being started as well, but it is just purely Marines out at the moment for Illusion. However, he does have his third base on the way. Right now, HerO going up to 2 more forges, or 2 forges, I guess I should say. They're his first on the field.
It's 2 more than 0, so
that's
yes,
true.
that's technically correct. But
there are more,
yeah, that's right. We'll take it. It's fine. But now, the fact that Illusion has all Marines is actually okay. Marines do die to Colossi very quickly, but Terran players in general have gotten good enough to where they can control their Marines, split the damage, minimize the losses that they'll take. So he's not in the worst position ever. He just needs to be very, very careful about where he chooses to engage the army. That's really the key in later game Terran versus Protoss matches, and we are going to see this get to kind of the late game at this point. We're hitting around the 15-minute mark, so Terran players are going to start really needing to think about where they fight. You know, that's really what it comes down to.
Crazy to think about it, but it's true, especially as to how this game started. You know?
Oh, I know.
And it looks like the Phoenix has tried to fly over to the left, but there were actually still a few Marines sitting there for Illusion, so he's able to dispatch of those pretty quickly. So, Illusion with his third command center finish up, turning that into an orbital command now. Phoenix is trying to swing back in and do a little bit of economic damage, which they will, but they have to watch out. Whoa! Actually, one getting very close to death there, but HerO pulls back out.
I gotta hand it to Liquid HerO, man. He has done an amazing job of keeping those Phoenixes alive for pretty much the entire match. He's really gotten his money's worth out of him. He's killed a lot of workers. He's kind of hindered his opponent. He's kept him back a little bit. That's a strong army coming out right now for Illusion, but 1-1 is probably going to be pretty close to done for his opponent, so the upgrades, the power of HerO's army is going to be a little bit stronger, and with 3 Colossi, that's going to be tough for Illusion to engage. He's going to need to pull apart the Protoss army, fight it in chunks if he can.
I was wondering if he was going to open up with a drop as well as he started to run across the map, try and pull some of those units out of position. For now, though, just kind of chugging ahead with his superior forces at the moment, admittedly. But, like you said, once that 1-1 finishes up, it's going to be a completely different story. We also have Colossus range just about to finish, too, in gateways number 6 and 7, just off of 2 bases.
Yeah, both players have kind of been forced to play in a little bit of an unorthodox way in this game, but it's turning out to be really interesting. Here comes Illusion thinking about coming up this ramp. There's still a lot of sentries in that composition. He needs to be very careful or he'll get his army split up by those force fields.
Illusion with a really nice position with the Vikings over the left-hand side, but these Phoenixes will actually be able to buffer a couple of shots, which is actually a pretty big deal in this engagement.
Yeah, that'll definitely help. I mean, the Phoenixes will also serve to kind of keep the Colossi safe. I think it was about last year, towards the middle to end of the last year, Phoenix Colossus was a very, very popular composition for Protoss players on the Korean ladder, and you still do see it a fair amount, not so much at the tip-top level of pro play. Seeing it, today in this situation is a little bit strange, but on the ladder, it is very popular still. So it's interesting to finally see it kind of come into a tournament again, but another Phoenix does go down.
Yeah, it gets picked off. Looks like he is going to be able to snag a couple of those Marines, though, so well done. And it's just a couple of Marauders. The rest of the forces in tow, though, for Illusion. Looks like he's not quite going to catch up for now. Well, he will actually here in a second. Those Phoenixes will be able to will actually go down.
HerO
falls.
Yeah, losing another Phoenix. He's down to 2. Those are suddenly not going to play much of a factor in the fight because he's not making anymore. Both players taking their third base. Illusion's a little bit quicker. He still does maintain the supply lead, but HerO's defensive play, the way he's just kind of sitting in his base, making his opponent attack up the ramp to him, is doing really, really well. Illusion, despite having that advantage, still isn't able to just engage and beat the army. He needs to be more patient.
Well, he is maxed now, and as we can see, adding on his Ghost Academy, and that's going to be pretty critical as we move later on into the game. Do like, though, with his last round of bio units that he made pretty much all Marauders, though, so he's going to have a little bit better chance to actually engage this force. HerO kind of pulling back at the moment. He knows that if he can trap everything up here at the front, he's going to get a really good engagement for himself.
Yeah, that is a lot of Colossi out right now. That's going to be a lot of AoE damage on that Bioforce. But Illusion, he could deny this third base. Yeah, I don't think HerO's going to be able to get there in time. Waiting to stim until the army shows up. The Vikings in a great position to go after the Colossi.
Yeah, and already picking off one of the Colossi. No, it actually survives with just 6 hit points, trying to get off another shot, but Illusion loses a couple of Vikings off to the side. Few units rolling up, but great force fields allow the Colossi to just melt the units up in front.
Oh, man, but it was worth it. Illusion taking out that third base, continuing to have that economic lead against his opponent. HerO needs to do something about this. He's actually going to move out and attack, it looks like, and he will be trying to retake that third base, but he needs to get get offensive in this game. He needs to actually push his opponent back, make sure that his third base survives this time, because if he can't get a third base up and running for a long time, he's simply going to run out of resources. Illusion is just going to be able to starve him out.
Yeah, I mean, right now, HerO, that's not any mining. 60 minerals, that's going to be
Not
gone.
a lot, no.
Yeah, and this is going to start disappearing here pretty quick as well. All those mineral patches are at about half, so he's on a ticking clock, and he needs to establish probably not just one, but eventually 2 bases if he's going to stretch this game out a little bit. We are 20 minutes in, of course, though, but Illusion is putting up his 4th command center at the moment and just continuing to chug ahead, and it's got to be.
It's a pretty cool game already, actually. Liquid HerO going for Storm. Illusion breaking through the rocks in the middle of the map. Those Marauders, nope, they didn't get the memo to join up the rest of the army, apparently.
Oh, but it looks like Illusion's just going to stim and go for it. We're going to see if these units get cut in half. The Colossi are just so powerful. One of them have finally gone down. The Vikings actually all died off to the side, so HerO gets a great engagement with the Colossi and actually evens up the supply.
Those bio forces of Quantic.Illusion just got absolutely torched. It was a barbecue, man.
It was.
Yeah, and not like the good tasty kind, the kind where like...
More like a Donner Party barbecue.
Oh,
so.
yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
Wow, that got dark fast.
It's
you
my
went
humor,
there, didn't
you know. Yes. Donner Party jokes all day, this guy. So, HerO going to try and move up now, get a little bit of position here in the middle of the map. Does take the Xel'Naga Tower. Illusion trying to stim and move at these units with the Colossi once again so powerful at the back.
Yeah.
And Illusion losing the vast majority of his forces up at the front.
It's such a strong army right now for our Protoss player. It's going to be really tough for Quantic.Illusion to stop this. It looks like HerO's making the smart decision, not going for the kill immediately. He's going to try to take out that third base. In StarCraft 2, it's so important to try to hinder your opponent's economy. Less economy means less army, and Illusion, great EMPs on those sentries, though.
Yeah.
Losing a lot of energy, but will it be enough?
Viking goes down off to the side. The Colossi have still just been alive for so long. There were 6 Colossi made in this game, and still 5 of them remain, and Illusion just losing all of its forces.
Oh, man, hardly any gateway units to support the Colossi, but there it is. GG!
GG!
And Liquid HerO takes game 1.